the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, amen.
Okay, thank you for the invite and welcome. The topic that the fathers and the servant felt may be helpful, and I hope you agree, is about parenting. But I called it a little different because I want to hopefully encourage the fathers to be more active in parenting. Parenting as an endangered talent. It's like the endangered animals كده. So I want to see if it's really true. Did we lose the ability to father? Is the church is in crisis because many parents in general and fathers specifically are not doing their job? I have some statistics which be very difficult to read, but I'll go through it fast. 40% of children are without a father. 90% of runaway children are homeless and without father. 80% of rapists with rage are from fatherless homes. 70% of minors in state facilities from fatherless homes. 40% of inmates jail came from a single parent housing. The rate of abuse and neglect is higher in single parent houses versus two parents. 70% of high school dropouts are from fatherless homes. Children with a father figure are 40% less likely to repeat grade schools. Like if there is a father in the house, the chances of them progressing academically is high. 90% of teenager repeat offenders are from a single mother household. 85% of minors in prison grew up without a father. Children with involved fathers are more likely to do better in school. And you can get the picture. 75% of adolescents in substance abuse facilities are from fatherless homes. And by the way, when I say fatherless, does not mean he's absent, but he could physically present, but he's absent in the actual fatherly figure. 70% of pregnant teenagers are from fatherless homes. 60% of youth suicides from fatherless homes. 85% of children with behavioral disorders from fatherless homes. Teenage girls with two parents and a present father figure have a decreased chance of being sexually active in young age. Okay, why do we need to speak about parenting? Because this is probably the generation that was not paralleled before and may not be paralleled after, where there is a major rapid pace in technology. There is a rapid pace in cultural changes. There is a major changes by media. Internet and social networking, this is probably the most and the highest generation that really have these things. Parents always complain and they don't want to listen to the solution. And basically they are afraid to change the way they were brought up. So they came up from a house that, for example, they discipline in a certain way. They think this is the way they should do it. They should stay without change because اللي نعرفه أحسن ما نعرفوش. The coach job or the mentor job, sometimes the family or the father doesn't want to listen to anyone from outside. Parents are between communication and conflict. Most women, after having children, tend to view themselves as mother figure and much, much less a lover or a partner. they see themselves as a mom. And that, of course, is very difficult for the man. Men, on the other hand, view themselves as a third now, not equal, not half, just very small percentage of the house. Studies have shown that men are more likely that they want to avoid conflict, whatever you want to do. Because they think when they do into any conflict, they will get more headache, they will get more problems. So rather than going through headache, they just want to submit and let it go. When they ignore the conflict, the women or the moms or the wives feel resentful, or feel ignored. They feel that they are not respected and their needs are not taken care of. That results in one of two things, either fighting or fleeing, which causes the woman to get even more angry because either he's not responding to her needs or he's even escaping completely. Either he's fighting with her, that means that he didn't get it, or they are completely avoiding the discussion. At the end of the day, both partners begin to avoid conflict, causing a marital drifting. Okay, now let's get to the positive part. What is the foundation of building a family with children? Number one is intimacy. Intimacy means physical intimacy, emotional intimacy. It's very important and needs work from both sides to preserve it and make it work. Number two, it's very important for each one of the couple to know their priorities. Your priorities is number one, your wife or your husband, number two, your children, and number three, any other else person, family members, mom, dad, sister, anyone. So God, wife, or husband, children. So sometimes it's upside down, and sometimes she prefers to talk to her mom more than to her husband. He talks to his brother or his sister before he talks to his wife, and that, of course, bring it to be a very difficult communication. Number three, it's very important to realize that kids feel safest when the marriage is thriving. The kids realize if we are fighting. Once they know that mom is crying or dad is threatening to leave home or both mom and dad are not talking to each other, they feel insecure. They feel what's going to happen. And sometimes they don't know how to talk, but you find the kids are becoming stubborn or angry or kicking each other or hurting each other because there is an insecurity in the household, and they feel it, but they may not verbalize it if they are very young. Number four, most of you have read this before. There are three types of parenting. The first type is the very permissive, that he or she does not know much about their kids. There is a very high love and a very low limits. Whatever they want to do, they can do. So that's the permissive. And then the neglectful, which basically doesn't know anything about them, but also does not offer love or care. And then number three, the authoritarian, where a lot of limits, a lot of authority, a lot of power, a lot of control, but very low support and very low love. And then finally, the authoritative, which there is a balance between giving and taking, like discipline. There is a balance between love and firmness. There is a clear that you are willing to forgive, but in the same time, there is a consequences to their acts. Okay, the parent's role in parenting teen. I always like to talk about teens because, in my opinion, if we succeed to parent good teens, the chances are those kids are going to grow to become amazing men and ladies in the future. I'm not saying before 12 is not important, but we usually do okay job. But when we come to teens, this is where the problem is. It's very important to know what is the objective of our parenting. Our objective is to make those people not just to go to good schools and get more money and become lawyers and teachers and whatever, but our job is to really get them to heaven. It's very important that you remind yourself and your husband and your wife, are we getting them closer to God or not? Your objective, your reason you are a parent is not to make them eat better or be healthy or avoid diseases or go to the right college or become a big successful man. Believe me, everybody has the same objective. But your super objective is are my kids going to know the right path to heaven or not? Are they going to know the way to succeed to heaven or not? So the parents' role in parenting teens. Let's take them one at a time. I think I have 12 or something, and I would like this to be very important. It's almost the foundation of parenting. Number one, be a listener. And when I mean a listener, I don't mean that you are talking to me and I'm doing this. This is not a listener. I'm maybe listening, actually, but he or she may not perceive that you are actually respecting their feeling or respecting their needs because your eyes are not looking at their eye. Tomorrow was supposed to be the Samaritan woman, which we will not be reading the gospel, but it's very important. I always learned that Christ was an amazing parent. If you take him as a husband, you can take him as a father to the Samaritan or her husband. She came with an attitude, like many of our children. Attitude. You are a Jew, I am a Samaritan. You are a man, I'm a woman. You don't have a pot to come to draw water. What kind of irresponsible, basically she said, man you are. And at the end of the day, she was attacking him because finally she found the man she can bring down. Because all the men in her life were horrible. 6 men. And every single one was worse than the other. So finally she found someone who can take it. And she wants to give it to him. And our Lord, as a parent, refused to slip into sort of a lose-lose match. He wants to get a win-win match. He wants her to win, and he wants to win, as Steve Covey said in his book. So our Lord right away started to listen. And he wasn't just listening to her anger or to her attitude, because that's, كلم بابا كويس. Why is he talking to Dad bad? You have raised him well. It's not like in الولد قليل الأدب, but he is talking bad to Dad today, or aggressive, because he's angry inside. He's not angry at you. He's angry at the kid who bullied him, or the teacher who insulted him, or whatever. But who can he be angry at? He cannot be angry at the teacher, but he can angry at you because you can take it. But you got it as an insult. He's not insulting you. Just listen to what's behind the attitude. And that's what Christ did with the Samaritan. He knew that this woman must be hurting, must be in shame, must be embarrassed, must be complaining of something that she couldn't talk about, and that's why she's coming with this attitude. It's very easy for Christ to tell her, you do not deserve the living water. I was going to give you the living water, مش هديكي. And that we sometimes do that with our children. But if we listen, we probably would have picked a reason why they are not. So the listening is not by ears. You listen what's behind the words. You listen why they are upset, why they are angry, why they have an attitude, why they are insulting, why their face is down and tall and depressed. Help him to make decisions, but don't take decisions. Like if he says, your son now is in high school and he wants to choose between colleges, don't take the decision. Find out what he likes, what he's good at, what he can excel, where is he's going to be, how he sees himself in 10 years. Ask him, how do you see yourself in 10 years? But don't volunteer by making a decision. Remember, there will be so many big decisions in his or her life. If you start taking them for him now, what is he going to do when he is in the dorm and somebody knocks on his door and she's almost semi-naked woman, a girl at 1 o'clock in the morning? Is he going to call you and say, Mom, there's a girl outside almost naked. Do I open the door? He's not going to call you. He has to make a decision. We cannot be so passive in making decisions in all our kids' choices. They don't know how to choose, even choosing right from wrong when we are absent, and that's important. Number 3, I wish you can show your children, especially men, fathers, that you like to talk to them, but there are times you are upset and you want to withdraw back and tell him, I can't talk to you now, I'm upset. It's nothing wrong with that. But don't make it too long. Don't make it like a national issue. I mean, an hour or something, and then tell him, let's talk. But there is nothing wrong with you taking a stand that he done something very bad. But rather than you are angry and you all of this and you want to, exercise your power as the father, rather than you do that, you are going to ask him, Dad is very upset from you. Give him a break. Mom is saying, he's going to talk to you when he can. So, and then connect back. 4, please be united with each other as parents. One of the worst things we do, that we split on what the kids want to do. So I agree with something Matthew wants to do, and my wife doesn't agree. And we show our cards that we are not united. Number 2, unite meaning unite in talking good about each other behind each other. Dad is working very hard, Habibi, to help you. Mom is praying all the time for you. This is a very nice concept to show that you both respect each other's roles. Dad may be the decision maker, that's fine. That doesn't mean mom is not a very important task keeper and multitask keeper, Kaman. So very important to show the unity, not just by talking to each other in front of the kids in a nice way, but also showing that you respect your wife's decision and plan and all of that. Number 5. And I want to say this, and I hope you understand me. You are not your son's friend. I want you to be friendly, but you're not his friend. Because his friend will agree with him in everything. You want to go to the mall and steal? Yeah, good idea. You want to vape? I have an extra one. That's a friend. And there are dads think, because they want to be so close to their kids, that they allow to break the boundary. No, you are a dad, you are a mom. And you have to show that you are very friendly, but you are not his friend. You will tell him wrong. You will tell him when he has to stop. You will tell him when is the principle, what is the Bible said, and what God agree and doesn't agree with. That's your role. Sometimes we want to be too, we are so scared and we want to be too close to them that we break the limit, the boundary, and all of a sudden our kids step on us, and then mom is upset because you are breaking every rule. Mom said no ice cream today because whatever, their teeth or whatever, and you come and say, it's okay, let's go on for ice cream. Yeah, do you want to appear يعني ان انت صاحبه قوي you break the rule of your wife? That's not really classy of you. I mean, and by the way, you think you scored, but believe me, the kids now know you guys are not united. And they know that they can come to you to break the rules. And one day they will never understand that the rule is a rule, even in the society. We have men now married who they don't know how to respect the principles and the rules in the society they are, or the work they are in. Number 6. You may have 2 or 3 children, but they may not be similar in everything. So you may go out with one kid and you may spend time reading with another kid. And you may take the third for an after-school lesson. Each one is different. One of them is very intelligent but needs love and connection. The second, he is romantic, and so he wants somebody to read with him and explain the book. The third, his IQ is less than his brother and sister, and he needs an after-school. Everyone is different, and you cannot just put one rule that fits all. There are many times our children are different, and I think many of you know that already. It's very easy that we want to assimilate or resemble what the society does, and we want to look like the Americans, and if you are in America, do like what Americans do, which I'm not disagreeing completely with this, but more importantly, we are Christians. We're not Egyptians or Americans. We are of course partially Egyptian, and we are definitely American, but more importantly, what governs our home is this is Christian or not? Would Christ agree, Habibi, on this or not? Whether America accepts or not, and as you can see, America now is really drifting in a very downhill approach that we don't know where it's going to land us. So we cannot just accept everything that comes across us. Yeah, the society says this, but Habibi, what did the Bible says? As simple as that. Yeah, gay marriage is accepted by society. Let them do what they like. But what does the Bible say? How did God created marriage? How did God design marriage? Homosexuals are acceptable in the society. We have no problem. We accept everybody. But they cannot come and tell us, for example, we need to marry in your church. No, we can't, because the Bible said that's unacceptable. Fine. And many other things, but anything, transgenderism, it's acceptable in the society. They even made the Easter the day for celebration. Fine. Let them do what they like. He is the prince of the world. Shaitan is the prince of the world. Fine. But for us, we know that this is unacceptable. Why? Because you can change the outer, but you cannot change inside, because God created you as his masterpiece, as a boy or a girl. So we have to teach the Bible or the biblical truth. Please do not be like a typical Middle Eastern parent who wants perfection in everything, to the extent you always have to make fun and bully and bring down your kids when they are not A+ perfect in everything. They have to be in piano and sports and science and math and social studies and Bible. I mean, that doesn't happen in real life. And what's wrong that your son is very good in one and may not be as long as he's doing his best. But when you only happy with him and you tell him, you are my son because you are perfect. What happened next month, when he is not as perfect in your eyes? If he's doing his best, he should be acceptable. So praise the positives, but don't try to see that the negatives bring him down from the level of being a son to something lower. 9. As a mom or as a dad, you have an effect or influence on choosing your children's friends. But you don't choose for them. You tell them, I want you to be friend with this. No. But when they friend somebody and you disagree with that friendship, you have to speak up. But you have to explain why. Since you became friends with X, I noticed you stopped becoming a deacon. Why? I am worried that this friendship is affecting you in a bad way. Since you became friend with this person, I am noticing you are cursing a lot. Is this person cursing? So in other words, I am almost asking my kids, what are the criteria for them to have a friend? And this criteria is not because you said so, but because this criteria governs all of us, regardless of it's your family, her family, my family. We all are governed by the same rules. While I was meeting with some of your children, I guess, earlier, we brought the verse, if your right eye is stumbling you, pluck it out. If your right hand is offending you, cut it off. And I asked them, what do you think? The answer was, although they didn't come up exactly with the right answer. The answer is, this is your best friend. بالعربي نقول عليه دراعك اليمين. If دراعك اليمين, if your right arm is offending you, is stumbling you, causing you to falter, it's better to cut it off. Cut it off, not your actual hand, but cut that relationship. So we use that verse to talk to our children that God actually wants you to choose the best eye and the best leg and the best hand to help you. Because this hand is your friend. What is this hand making you do? What is this eye makes you see? And so on. It's very important for the parent to put limits. Limits to how the son treats mom or dad in a respectful way, but limits also to their own life. Like the kid who has no limits to his phone, the kid who has no limits when to sleep, the girl who has no limits what to wear, in what, and in what circumstance. You have to teach your children to have boundaries and limits, when to call, when to text, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. That's your role to show, to do. There are 3 stages of parenthood, and again, I'm coming back to the father here. When your kid is that small, you are nurturing them exactly like their mom. Kindness, playing. But very important that the father shows, first, from year 1 to 2, he now knows if he's a boy or girl, and he sees the difference between him and his sister. And then he knows the difference between mom and dad. And from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, he starts getting closer to the father, more to the mom. But it's very important in that time that the father becomes the teacher on how to control anger. So the kid in this picture, let's say he threw this toy all the way against the wall because he was angry. So I think, I don't know, of course, how the picture was taken, but the father took the picture and he's now teaching him self-control. That's happened between 2 and 5. That's your job as a dad. I'm not saying mom cannot do that. Of course, mom can do it. But I want the father figure to show self-control because that's within the manly character, manly figure. He needs to know as early as possible that you can't throw things. You can't just lose your temper. You have to learn how to control your anger. Then this is the school age. The school age is when he starts learning about rules. There is a time to arrive. There's a certain time to close if it's a uniform. He has to have in his backpack certain things he has to bring. Rules. The lunchbox has to come out that time. He cannot eat whenever he likes. Time to eat, time to come, time to leave, and so on. And this is where fathers can teach by role model. When dad respects the rules of the church, for example, when to come, where to park, how to enter, when to speak, what to use the phone in the church, or he doesn't use the phone in the church, and he observes that dad is playing in his Facebook in the church. So once he gets a phone, don't complain. If your kids are playing in the phone in the church, please don't complain. You brought it upon yourself because you never showed as a role model how your kid's supposed to behave in an environment like this. And then the adolescence, which is the second part of teenage or so. And this is a very important slide. This is a battle, and we must win it for the sake of our children. I don't want you to think that teenage in this country, there is no way I can win it. With the grace of God, you will. And many of us have won our children in the teenage. But in my little humble opinion, this is a battle. And you must win it for the sake of God. You must win it. Because believe me, this is a time where either you win for kingdom of heaven, or unfortunately you may lose. God willing, they will come back, but it's a tough time. And I like this picture again. Mom standing in the back. She looks like she's very angry at her kid. Okay, may or may not be good, but let's leave mom. But I like that the kid is listening to the dad. He doesn't want to put his eyes on the eyes of the father because apparently he did something a little embarrassing. But the father doesn't look like he is losing it, like maybe the mom had done here. And he is content. He is well disciplined, the dad, and he's talking to him in a firm way, 1, 2, 3. Meaning he is telling him where did he do wrong and what he's supposed to do and how he's going to help him. It's very important we control the impulse because sometimes the kid becomes impulsive. That's a character of adolescence. Impulsive meaning whatever comes to his head, he does. And we need to tell him again about self-control. And this is to contain the impulsivity. Now, this is the time, unfortunately, all bad habits will come. Pornography, masturbation, video games, vaping. And believe me, we spoke a lot about this with the young people today. But you as a parent must have a role, especially as a dad. Again, I'm not saying the mom has no role. Actually, the mom has an amazing role because at the end, she will be the embracing bosom of her heart that will always tell the kid, we love you, regardless of what you did or what you are failing in or what you are trying to do and you can't do. But I know that the moms do their job almost all times, but the dad must be present in the adolescent years of life, especially that bad habits, especially if you have a boy and I'll come back to the girl, this is the time you want to talk to your son about the dangers of porn, the dangers of masturbation, the addictive part of smoking or vaping. You have to talk about it. If the dad cannot, then the mom must do it. But the worst thing that nobody wants to do it. That's unacceptable. And this is the time where you tell him the society is not always right. And it's not because the school said so, we have to listen. The school changes, the ideology of the society changes, and there are many things that are right now will be wrong tomorrow or the reverse. At the end of the day, you want to make their personalities mature and strong and powerful and influential and leaders. You want your children, whether boys or girls, to be future leaders of a community like this. Lately, for the last 3 years, I'm very concerned about one thing that I keep telling everywhere I go. I'm not worried about your children. I'm worried about their children. 50 years from now, many of us may not be alive. 50 from now. I will definitely not here. 50 years from now, who is going to fill this church? It's not your children. It's your their grandchildren. Not even their grandchildren. 50 years from now. When your children becomes Giddu, can you imagine? You will not be here, majority of us. This is where the battle that we must win today with our children. If you can make your children so well rooted in the dogma, in the principles, not in the Egyptian culture. This is not my concern. I am not saying it's bad, but I'm saying it's more important the Christian attitude, the Christian principles, the Christian cultures. You have seen the American culture is going from right to left with every president. We don't understand what's going on. It's like a children taking over the government and do whatever they like. Bunch of kids. No real ideology. So we cannot just let our children be tossed around because of, and I was just telling your kids, strangely, some of the good governors like the Florida one is saying things that the church has been saying and the Bible has been saying. No kid before 14 should have a social media unless he gets a parental control. Why should the state tell us to do what we as Bible knowers should have done? We shouldn't have waited for DeSantis to tell us this. We should be doing this well before. Now we are supported by a governor, fine, but the governor changes. What will happen? Who knows what will happen tomorrow? So you want to tell before the state and the city and the government and the Congress tell us, we need to instill in our children the heavenly principles. Not for them. I think, may God give you grace, you will do good with your children. But are they going to do good with their children? That's the real cornerstone. And that's what I'm concerned about. Are the Coptic churches that all over the diaspora in 50 years will be buying or selling churches? And it depends on you. Depends on every single family today who have children. You look for 50 years, not until they go to college. May God give you blessing. You will be fine. But I want you to think of more. They need to be leaders. They need to be monks and priests and servants in the church and servants in the Sunday school female classes and all kinds of things. So in the teenage, there are two important rules. The first rule, if you give rules without friendship, without relationship, there will be rebellion. No for this, no for this, no for this. After a while, as soon as they get to the dorm, they just got to school in Jacksonville, but قابلني if any of your principles will apply. Jacksonville. مش هقول لك نيويورك, Jacksonville. خلاص. Because you never really applied your rules with a real relationship. Or rules with a relationship resulting in harmony, resulting in understanding where the rule come from. Where are you saying this? Like I like this picture. And by the way, again, I am almost sure that the moms do their job to the extent I'm focusing on the dads. I love this picture because to me, it shows what I want every dad to do with his daughter. Believe me, and I'm saying this not that I know your church. I know many other churches, but I don't know yours. Our girls are growing up in a big crisis, Coptic girls, because the men are absent. They are present in the home. They come and eat and watch TV and whatever, but they are absent. They are not doing a good job as fathers. Across the country, across the Coptic churches, they leave it to them as if this is beneath them. And it's a big problem among girls because the girl who will not be kissed by her dad will be kissed by somebody else you don't want to kiss your daughter. 100%. And don't blame her. She needs a man to kiss her. She needs a man to hug her. Moms are very nice in pouring feelings. And she may push you, but she needs you. And this is a picture I wanted to come into your head. And that's why they love Abuna, because Abuna hugs and kisses and forgives and he's kind and he laughs. This is the picture of our fathers supposed to be looking like. Friends. He's sitting next to her, he's allowing her to think, he's waiting for her to speak, then he will give his opinion. She may be so stupid she doesn't know how to solve math questions, and he may be angry that my daughter is so stupid in math, but he's content, he's holding himself, he's controlling his feelings because he doesn't want to lose the friendship. So that's what I'm talking about. The consequences of an absent father in the life of his daughter. Do not back away when she starts to become a lady. She got her period. She's 13 years old. I want you to love her the same, not even more, because now she's a lady. She's already doesn't know, period. I'm not sure, I'm prevented from communion, so how does that looks like? I'm already the church. And she doesn't know how the church attitude does for her, and that's a different issue. But who are you with her? Now she has a period. She got a bra. Are you loving her the same, showing your admiration, praising her, encouraging her, looking at her with so much praise, or you are avoiding her because you don't know what to talk about? 2, because of the body changes I just saw about and the image, her own image in herself, what are you doing as a dad? Are you telling her, I'm so proud of you, mom told me, this is a very important day. To me, you are going to be a beautiful lady, more beautiful than all the girls in the church. I'm sure you will be an amazing woman, amazing mother. Maybe one day I will not be even see you, you will be an amazing grandmother. And praise in her the gender. Because we are in a society, they are putting down each gender and making them so confused. Make them be proud of who they are. Make them proud of their manhood or womanhood. Because we are so confusing in our curricula today, and whether school is clear about it or not, the society is unclear. Maybe she's embarrassed of some of the changes. And it's very important as a church, as leaders, as ladies, as men, we look at those who cannot have communion, that they are not dirty. They are not a disgrace. Just the church asked them to take it easy that day so she can take a Tylenol and take a glass of milk before she comes. She may sit down rather than stand up because she is tired. But we never look at them with the eye of filth, dirt, sickness, or God forbid, disgrace. No, look at her, that one day, this is like painting your uterus. Every month there is a painting. So no baby is here, they have to scrape out the painting because next month there will be another painting. And when there is no baby, they scrape it again. Until one time, the prince of the uterus will come in, or the princess. And you will harbor that baby, the prince, for 9 months, who is going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. That's how we look at the period, as dads, as fathers, and of course as moms. Conflict with the mother. It's very common for girls to have conflict with their moms. Don't take one side, but in the same time, be firm with your daughter so you do not appear you are antagonist to your mom, but don't let at the end the daughter becomes so alone that she doesn't know where she can go to. Many of our girls, Coptic girls, have eating disorders during that time. Dad figure, again, I have several girls in New York who actually, they don't have really dads. So it's not their fault. And they have eating disorders. Several. I don't have one because I go all over. I don't go to one church. And sometimes I have the blessing of serving them. Can you imagine if you are present and you still didn't do your job? Shame on me that it didn't. This is my job, not anybody's job. What about the consequences of absent father in the life of a teen boy? This guy will grow up to be a passive man, khira. He will not be a real man. He will grow up to be a wishy-washy, doesn't have an opinion, and his wife تقول له, can you make up your mind what you want to do? But he doesn't know how to take his mind. He was never taught by his dad to make up his mind because his dad was not talking to him, not advising him, not disciplining him. A lot of our teenagers, when they grow without an involved dad, they become very angry. They snap. They are stubborn. They lose it. Irresponsible. Many of our current marriages, somebody will complain and say, the man is very irresponsible, usually because he didn't have enough role model as a father to help him when he was growing up. Unfortunately, some of our boys, when they grow up without a true father figure or a parenting figure, they grow up and have adolescence late, like he's 25, and start saying things like he's 14, or doing things as he's 14. And even his kids will look, what happened to you? We grow out of all of this many years ago. Now you are doing it? What's wrong with you? Okay. Let's do this, and it will be the final part. The 5 keys for healthy family. Number 1, the power of touch. Amazingly, Jesus Christ is the professor of parenting because he would touch, for example, the coffin of the widow who lost her son, the son of the widow of Nain. He didn't have to touch. He didn't have to touch. He could have said, get up and carry your bed and leave. Why did he touch? Because this woman, everybody's scared to touch a dead man, and that's her only son. She's a widow. To her, she needed that touch. And that's his daughter, and that's his son. The power of touch. One time they brought to Jesus a guy who is deaf and mute. So he can't hear him. Jesus opened his mouth. The guy opened his mouth. Jesus stuck his tongue out. So Jesus touched the tongue of the guy to tell him, افتح. افتح زي افتح. The power of touch. In today's medicine, there are many articles claiming the importance of touching a patient in a non-sexual way, of course. Yani tapping the shoulder, holding the hand, especially when you have to say you have to have a biopsy, you have to do surgery. Power of touch, even in medical terminology today. So if you, mom or dad, are not touching your kids in a kind, blessed way, don't complain when they start looking for touches outside. I always say, if you don't kiss your daughter at home, somebody else will kiss your daughter without you knowing. Please, 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 kiss a lot, love a lot. Some people think we are worried about their pride. They will be very proud. Don't worry about proud. We don't have any kids who are proud. All our kids are low self-esteem, okay? All the Coptic community, they don't have any arrogance. I wish we have some, يعني يمكن تنفع. كله كله حاسس إنه هو قليل, low self-esteem. So don't worry. Don't worry about, oh, I'm worried about he becomes arrogant. Don't worry. Just kiss, touch, love, embrace. They may push you. They may tell you, Dad, مش عارف ايه. ماشي, no problem. Just برضو kiss him. You don't have to do it in front of everybody. يعني ابنك جالك كده. Everybody look. شوف هعمل ايه مع الولد. لا, احنا مش بنمثل احنا. دي بينك وبينه. This is a personal touch. This is a relationship. This is the touch of the Samaritan with Christ. He didn't really, we don't know that he touched her, but certainly هو وزع كل التلاميذ. قال لك أنا هقعد معاه لوحدي دي. He let them all go. قال لهم I want you to go and get me, I want to eat. When they came, قالوا له جبنا لك تاكل. قال لهم أنا شبعان. I am full. I ate the Samaritan woman. I drank the Samaritan woman. So he definitely had this touch. Number 2, I wish we go back to you bless your children with an obvious sound, obvious language. عارف تقول له I'm going to pray for you. I know you are very worried about the exam tomorrow. And then you text him and you tell him, may God bless you, Habibi. I love you. I know you are in the exam now or about to enter the exam. You are about to meet the principal. I know you are so scared about it. I know you didn't sleep well. I'm praying about it. We need our children to know that you guys are prayerful parents, not just read a book or listen to a useless lecture like this, or you are really prayerful people. Number 3, send them the indirect messages showing your admiration. Not that I like using the phone in the church, but can you imagine you saw your daughter using her phone and she is standing here and you are here, and you don't want her to use her phone. You can send, أنا مش قلت لك حاجة نط عليك واخد المفتاح. Okay, fine. But you can do something else. You look so beautiful, حبيبتي. You achieved 2 things. She's looking at the phone, فبتاع بابت في وشها. She said, number 1, you showed praise. Number 2, she knew that she has to fund. You didn't tell her anything, but you tell her, you look beautiful among all the girls of the church. She got the message. Baba معجب بيا, he likes me. And in the same time, I should have not been using the phone in the church. So I put the phone back. Your son is playing basketball or whatever, and then he sat down and they replaced him with somebody else and he was upset. And then later on you send him a message or you tell him, by the way, you played so good. I'm glad you give your chance to other people to play, because everybody will look down because you are good. I mean, they will look like nothing. You were like Michael Jordan. So I mean, I'll tell you على حاجة. زمان قوي وان ابونا was with us and we were young, Dr. Nabil Ba'i used to take us for family retreats in New York. Do you know Nabil Ba'i, right? Okay. So Dr. Nabil Ba'i is the uncle of the Pope, and he's the brother of Abu Hanna Ba'i, our father of confession in Egypt. So he told me one time, many years ago, that's about 20-some years ago, and at that time he was able to drive. He is not feeling well now. He said, when I know that my son has a game the next day and I'm driving him, I actually study everything about the game the night before, exactly as I do for Sunday school classes. I will know who is playing with against who. I will know who is the best player and the MVP. I will know how much is the player and how much they are offering him to buy him from the other team. I will know who is being penalized and will not play in the front. I will know everything. And then he's driving, and then he starts making that conversation. And the kid, أنت بتعرف الحاجات دي إزاي يعني? How do you know all of this? Oh, I know. I mean, of course I know everything. And then he tells him, do you think he's going to play first, or whatever his name is will play? Oh my God, Baba know this? الواد قاعد, he is enjoying. His son now is a doctor, by the way. But I know the story. And this is when my kids were young. And I will never forget it. And I'm an old man now. And may God give him time, Dr. Nabil, he's still helping us. Because this idea, you are investing in the time your son is with you in the Arabiya. اسكت بقى, I want to listen to the song. Who cares about the song that you want to listen to? Your son is next to you in the car. That's a literally captive audience. He can't do anything. You have to literally know what you need. You have to prepare a plan. You heard or you felt or you saw that your daughter is vaping, and you are taking her now to the music class. وإيديك بتترعش بقى who knows بيحصل إيه تاني. What are you going to talk about? And what is the method of opening this topic? You can't tell her, I saw it. But ممكن تقول لها, by the way, I read that a lot of girls in Florida, and I showed your kids, by the way, a very high percentage of middle and high school are vaping. You know, Habibti, I was reading that vaping has oil particles that can cause inflammation of the lung and makes people not breathe. And sometimes they add things in it like nicotine and marijuana. Do you know these things? Have you read about it? He said, oh, Mama, ده احنا all the school vaping. طب what do you think, يعني, what do you tell people when they are vaping? You are opening a discussion, whether she benefits to herself or she got the message indirectly. Both you are doing a good job. Same for porn. You tell them, Habibi, I know that porn is becoming too common now. Everybody, the بيقولوا over 8 years old, they are doing porn. No, dad, 12, and he's 12. فانت ولا تعلق ولا تعمل عادي قوي يعني, وانت بتغلي من جوه هتموت. You keep going back. But Habibi, but porn, what do you think that? And I read, it can be addictive, and people who do it likes to do it more. And I read even that some people can cut school and their grades are going down. Do you have that in school? Well, you guys don't have that. And he talks. كلها في العربية. You are reading, you are preparing, and you are calm as much as possible. مش بقى هتكسر اللي قدامك وتزعق وتنزل الشباك وتكرس الراجل اللي جنبك لأنه you're losing it. You lost it. The kid knows that Baba lost control of the situation. And that's not how a father is. 5, if you promise your kids something, do your best to fulfill them. Even if you don't have the money or the capacity or the time, tell them, I promised you to take you to Titusville, but I couldn't. But I promise you we're going the week after. But since I couldn't, let's go out to something little this week because I don't have time for a full weekend. And you take them out. You are a good dad. You are a good mom. Because you promised and you are fulfilling, even if you can't. If you can, please do. 6. Kaman, there is something that a lot of people writing on now called meeting at the fence. Meeting at the fence. When there is a problem with your children, you have up to 24 hours to talk about it. I wouldn't talk about it in 1 hour because you're probably very angry, but I wouldn't also postpone it 3 days. Like, I'll give you an example. Your daughter came and all the buttons are torn. And you notice, you're a mom, you notice everything. You got upset, you don't know what happened, but then she sat next to you. Habibti, you had a fight today? It seems you had a fight. I saw your face and I saw your shirt. What happened, Habibti? Hakili. And in that tone, مش تقطع القميص تاني. هو أنا كل شوية أجيب لك قميص تقطعيه وأنت. You know the difference. طب هي, you don't know what happened. More than likely, this is one of the girls fought with her. But how are you going to talk about it? And when? And it has to be within 1 day. So don't wait too long. Giving each other equal time to present their side. When you want to talk to your daughter about the shirt that's torn, you should, stop talking. Habibti, I see that you are very upset and you look very angry. Can you talk about it? And then you stop and let her talk and let her finish. And then you talk and then she talks and you stop. Don't interrupt. When they talk, this is a golden time, a golden opportunity, because this is the Samaritan telling him, I had 5 men and the one I have now is not mine. And you tell her, bravo alayka habibti, Ninti, you did not curse back. I am very proud of you. I'll go with you to the teacher tomorrow, to the principal, and let's see what will happen. Be their defense. 3. When there is an issue that you don't know how to solve it, ask your son or daughter, can you suggest what to do about it? What do you think we should do? I mean, maybe they went to the mall and stole some gum. 30 cents, $1, but they stole. What do you think we should do? He went to his friend's house and he took his video game disc with him and he came back. And you found out. You don't have to say you are a thief. No, come on. But you have to talk about it, and then you tell him, what do you think we should do? And one of the solutions, I think we should give him a new one. Don't you think? And I think you should pay out of your own pocket for this, because you took it, and you should not have taken it. You agree? And let him, he is the one who chooses. Maybe he will say, but Baba, I don't want him to know that I said, no problem. Let us mail it to him. I'm not going to embarrass you. Let's mail it to him. But now you know this is not something you should have touched. We'll mail it. He will not know where it's coming from, but at least you know this. I am dealing with someone who in 10 years I want him to be honest. I could make him feel bad that he's a thief, or I could make him feel bad but tell him how to be good, and then from now on he's going to be a great person with integrity and honesty and fear of God, because I showed him that God is present everywhere. I'm almost done. Deciding which solution will work best, then celebrate. After the 3 opinions, should we go to the mom and give her? Should we send it to him? Should we go and apologize? And you choose one that's decent, shows the best way, and then hug him. He's not your enemy. He made a mistake, but he is not Judas the Iscariot. He is not. He did not betray the church and broke the dogma of the incarnation. He did not do any of that. He just made a mistake. like you and I every single day. Every single day. So please be merciful. But in the same time, be firm. I'm not saying you let go something wrong. You have to make an example of something he did wrong and show him that God sees everything. Because one day he will be in the dorm and maybe something else you will never know about. I want him to know that God, he knew when he was 13 that God saw the disc of the video game when he put it in his pocket. Now he is in the dorm and a girl comes knocking in his door and he says, no, God is inside. Okay? Last part, how and what to say, to speak. I'm going to go fast because this is a long thing. I'm going to give you about 12 types of words. The first thing is thank. Thank you, your wife. Thank your husband. Thank your kids. Thank God. Use the word of thanks all the time. Number 2, the word of appreciation. Appreciate your mom, your wife. Appreciate your husband in front of your kids. Appreciate your kids on how well they are deacons, how nice they are standing in the church, how great their behavior with others, how good they were kind to the poor in the street. Word of appreciation. Word of advice. One of the words that parents should do is to advise, to give good recommendation on what to do. Words of welcoming. Be inclusive. Don't shun people because he is not like us. We tell him off. Words of prayer that you tell him, let's pray about this. Mom has a biopsy tomorrow, Habibi, and we need to pray about it. And let's put her name on the altar. And all of a sudden, the mom comes back and her biopsy is normal. So see, because you prayed. And then he says, wow, I'm going to learn now how to do it every time. The word of care, that you care about somebody, you care about your mom, you care about your dad. You also want to show them how to show the words of care. The words of encouragement. When mom said to dad, you can do this. We know that you are very capable. Don't worry. The problem you are in, you are so good at it, and I know that you will be fine. And he hears that mom is encouraging dad, and then mom and dad are encouraging the kids. And maybe the kids one day say, Mom, don't be scared. You will be good. You are so good. And then you say, wow, they learned because I encouraged their dad one time. Word of apology. Say sorry. I know I'm late, but I want to say a story that happened when the Egyptian team went to the Olympic and lost maybe in one day. What happened is one of the guys in New York, he was watching the game in the phone, in the subway. فاكرين الوقت ده ولا لا؟ مصر دخلت الأولمبيك مرة يعني. Anyway, he was watching in the subway, and then he arrived home. As soon as he arrived, the kids were watching TV. He took the remote, changed the channel, وقعد يكمل الماتش. The kids were very well disciplined. They went to a different room. Next day he came in. They gave him the remote. فقال لهم, no, 1 second. I want to apologize about yesterday. I was very bad. I came in. I didn't ask you if you don't mind. I changed the channel. I took the remote. I changed it without even asking. I'm very sorry. The kids told me, how do you think this will impact their life? Amazing. This is a super dad. He knew how to apologize when he's wrong. And that's the best. I actually naively, I think, we cannot go to heaven without saying sorry to everybody. I think sorry is one of the buzzwords for heaven. هيعدوا علينا كم sorry. If you say sorry to God, say sorry to your wife, to kids, because if you don't say sorry يعني يبقى انت you don't have repentance. ده انت ربنا كده وانت نمرة 2 على طول يعني ما فيش حد بعدك. The next is the words of promises. I promise I will not let you down. I promise I will go with you to the school. I promise I will pray for you. I promise I will get you that present because you are promises. The words of truth, don't lie. Say the truth. Don't ever lie to your children. They can sense it. I want to end by, if you don't have the subscription for CYC, it's a very good time for you to please do it. We are supplementing so many things that your children would love to participate in and have it in their phones. There is plenty of negative media. This is probably the only positive Christian media we have in the church. It's a big platform for children to participate in. Even a lot of kids from Tampa did a song with Mr. Izzat Yusuf in the back called the Grape of the Cluster, Grape Clusters. اللي هي كان في عنقود عنب. It's going to come up very soon. We have a new topic coming up called Science, Logic, and Faith, where a lot of people waiting for it because it shows how can we use science to prove that God is present. So please participate. We are only asking you to subscribe, to watch, make your children watch, talk about it, bring it. Every single topic you can imagine. Masturbation is there. Pornography is there. Marriage is there. Engagement is there. Divorce is there. Dogma is there. Incarnation is there. Abuna Anthony Misiha is there. Abuna Daniel Fanus is there. Amba Thomas is there. Amba Angelus is there. Amba Yusuf. So to tell you the truth, I feel like it's a big loss if you don't participate. Yes, Abuna. Yeah, it's 24/7 in YouTube. You can watch it in YouTube all the time or IPTV. But on YouTube, it's 24/7. And it's always new programs every now and then. But if you subscribe in YouTube, then all, يعني مثلا, we go 3 liturgies every Saturday and Sunday from 3 continents. Australia, Europe, and then like this Sunday, this early Sunday, we're coming from France, from Paris, this early morning. And yesterday we were in Melbourne, Australia. The week before was Netherlands and also Australia, and so on. So those are the live. And then, of course, the Passion Week and all of that is all live. We have also a great documentaries like the medical analysis of Jesus' sufferings. A lot of your children love to listen how the nail went, what type of nerves, how did Jesus breathe on the cross, how much blood did he lose, how is the pain of the thorns, what type of nerves in the scalp that affected him, when the spear went in, how the blood and water came, medically speaking. Any questions? Okay. If a parent is yelling and threatening the child and the other parent intervenes and tries to stop this, if a parent is yelling and threatening, and the other parent intervenes and tries to stop that, does this mean that the parents are not? Okay, number one, yelling and threatening, هعمل فيك وسوي فيك وطلع اللي عليك. يعني, believe me, this usually means you lost the battle. If you reach to a level in Ninta you are threatening, means you are not confident of yourself as a father or as a mom. 100%. ليه? Why are you threatening at 12 years old and you are 40? I mean, there must be a problem, right? You lost confidence in your ability. So number one, threatening, that means you are losing your confidence as a parent to control. So number one, please don't threaten. Very, very bad. And the kids feel scared. And after a while, if they don't feel like you can do anything, they will ignore your threats. Number two بقى, السؤال الثاني. What about my wife or my husband who intervenes to tell you, يعني يشدوني. طبعا if I'm going to kill the child, then you have to interfere. يعني if one of you is going to kill a child, you have to interfere. But if not, I prefer that you try your best to hold it and let it go. He is wrong. I'm not saying he is not wrong. He is definitely wrong, or she is definitely wrong. But if you interfere now, more than likely that parent will be so angry at you and you will not know what is the end of the situation. I'm not saying what is happening is correct. It's definitely threatening is a very cheap way of treating a child, because he's a 1/3 of your age. So be careful, please. Later on, when everything comes down, like you talk to him like Esther talking to her king, or husband talking to his wife, that, by the way, you misunderstood. Your son was doing this and this, and you assumed he's doing that and that. It will be great if that goes later on, says, Habibi, I think I may have understood you wrong. Mom told me this and this. ده لو بابا طلع غلط. But please, I would rather avoid threatening. I'm a single parent. What can I do if my teenager is threatening to leave the house if I take away his phone as a result of misbehavior? Number one, may God bless single parents, because in my opinion, they are so heroic. And I'm very proud of them, because even us who are man and a woman together, sometimes we don't know how to parent. So may God bless if you are a single dad or a single mom. Number one. And we pray for you, believe me. Number two, please bring in fathers of the church, servants of the church, to help you in some situations. Because you don't want ever to look like the enemy, because there is no other person to compensate. So if you are a single mom and your child is overusing the phone, you tell him once, twice, 3 times, and then try to get somebody else involved. I hate for you to be the enemy of your child. Number 3, for all of us, but certainly for single moms, please talk about the phones before you plan to take it. I always say this example. I have AT&T. If I didn't pay this month, they will send me a warning. If I didn't pay after the warning, they will increase $10. If I didn't say after the $10, they will cut the signal, right? This is how we deal with our children. You should give him a warning first when you guys are in good situation. Habibi, this is the rule from now on. You have a phone, I'm paying for it. I'm going to trust your use. However, because I am your mom and I'm paying for it, I have the right to warn you first and then to take it from you should I feel you are hurting yourself with the phone. And tell him, what do you think? Look at this. What do you think I should do if you misuse the phone? I love when the kids come to you and tell you, I want you to take it for 2 weeks. Tell him, no, 3 days. I want you to appear the more merciful. Some kids, they are too harsh on themselves. What happens if your grades go down to this? I think probably because of my phone. I think you should take it for a month. No, I'll take it for a week until your exam gets better. Let the kids show you what would they do to themselves should they misuse the phone. I have something, I'm not sure if I can show you or not, but I have an agreement, a contract that I make between parents and children. Dear so-and-so, I am so-and-so, your dad, and this is the name of your mom. We are hereby asking you to initial each of this if you agree. We are giving you a Nokia phone, whatever minutes, or whatever, unlimited. However, these will be the regulations. If you use it in liturgy, we will take it from you every single Sunday for 4 Sundays. Please initial. Because in my opinion, this phone should be taken from me, not from your kids, during liturgy. All of us are bad, believe me. I sometimes get emergency messages about cancer patients, but believe me, sometimes I give myself excuse, and it's wrong. I wish we don't ever take it out from our pockets. But anyway, number 2, if you use bad text after 11 p.m., I'm going to take the phone from you for 1 week. Please initial. if your grades drop from this, I'm going to take the phone. If I find that you are using it for pornography or bad or sexting, if you don't know sexting, ask me later, because your kids know it very well. So if you use it for something sexual like this, I'm going to take it for 2 weeks. If you repeat the thing, I'm going to take it until you speak to Abuna, because at this point you need repentance and confession. Sign here, mom sign here, kids sign here, agreement sold, finish. Okay, what can I do with my teenagers who are stubborn and disobedient? Let me just tell you, there is no teenager who is not stubborn and disobedient. Okay? It's not your teenager. It's all of us. If the teenager طيب قوي وحنين قوي, هو في حاجة غلط يعني هم normally have to be disobedient and stubborn. That's their nature during this time. That's why I said it's a battle. You think it's easy ان انتوا تاخدوا crown of parenting children هيروحوا السما? Of course it's difficult. So don't keep complaining. Who are what? Stubborn and disobedient. What can I do with my teenager? Number one, accept him. Okay? Number two, if he is stubborn genetically بقى, then sorry يعني جابه من حد فيكم انتوا الاثنين. يعني don't blame the kid. If he is stubborn because his dad's stubborn, what can I do? We can't do anything. But in the same time, don't the stubbornness to be an invitation for you to be also stubborn. We will never finish. Yani, let the wave pass. And then later on, start talking serious about, do you think your behavior was right today? I'm telling you to leave the phone for 1 hour until you finish your homework, and you kept being angry. I let it go, by the way. And I am the one who's paying the phone. I can easily take it from you. But I want you to know that your behavior was not nice. And I don't expect that anymore from you. Something like that. But don't at the same time try to change him. What should I do if my child looks me in the eyes and continues to lie to me? Okay, there are certain time lying is normal in children. They claim until 8, something like that. They don't know that they are truly lying. But what I would like to do, that you always, not at that time, you are a liar, don't say that. But later on, speak about a story from anything. Chicken lied on her chicken, and I know what happened. Make up a story. You have to find a story. And then try to show that God loves people who are very honest and sincere. And why would you lie? Are you scared of something? If you're, yani make it. I was talking yesterday about something called askable moments. Make them teachable moments. Askable yani eh? You know that this is a problem of lying. Make it a teachable moment, but maybe not the same time. How can we help my son who has special needs and had negative experience with people at church in his childhood, who now dislikes the church? Those are the saints of the church. Those, in my opinion, in my heart, those are the saints of the church. When they have any type of needs, we call it special needs, any type of disability, any type of needs. But may God bless you. You have a big cross in your hand, and may God give you patience on how to deal with your son or daughter. Now, I can tell you, the church is a hospital. Every single one of us is sick with something. I may have cough, she may headache, may have sore throat, whatever. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you the church will not occasionally look down at somebody, let's say, mentally challenged in the church. Unfortunately, we do, which is very bad. An African-American guy comes here, everybody will look. I was just telling your kids a while back, I will never forget, a man and a woman full of tattoos from here all the way down, holding her big guitar and walking into the church. أبونا يقول زي ما يقول كل الناس بتتفرج على الاثنين اللي قعدوا هنا. خلاص القداس خلص. Everybody's watching those two. وهم جايين يسمعوا. يعني unfortunately, what can I say? I'm not judging my fellow churchmen, but I want you to know, unfortunately, these things will happen. But I don't want you to be sensitive about it. You have a saint in your hand. Because God, when He gives a problem like this, He knows that He is going to give you a blessing. Please endure it. Come to the church. Sit in the front, so at least if he doesn't make noises, sit in the front so nobody sees in the back. And stay here. Ask Abuna if you can stay in the altar. There are certain people you should surround yourself with, and certain people who unfortunately may not have the capacity to grasp the merciful idea of taking care of one with special needs. How to talk about homosexuality with my kids when they ask about their friends who have dads and two moms. You have to talk about it. And you have to talk about it early. I think from 6 years old, you should start talking about the body, that nobody should touch them except mom and dad if they are bathing them, and the doctor. Watch out. Nobody should touch them. When they go to the bathroom, they have to close the bathroom. And even if it's a boy, don't tell him to use the urinal. Let him go inside the cubicle and close. Because I have had children in the country who are being molested by school kids and church kids in the bathrooms. So teach your children from now. Habibti, when you go to the bathroom, lock the door. Habibi, when you go to pee, don't stand in the urinal. Go inside the cubicle. As if you're doing number 2. Who knows what you're doing? Who cares? So two things. Nobody touch them. Teach him. Number 2, go to the bathroom. This is a private thing. Nobody should see you or touch you or talk to you while you are in the bathroom. Number 3, tell them that read Genesis 2 and show him, and Matthew 19, and show him the example of a unit of marriage. That there was a man and a woman and God. And tell him God made that arrangement. Man did not do it. God could ممكن يجيب 2 Adams, but he decided that there has to be one gender called Adam and another gender called the female, called Eve. So Habibi, the world today can say whatever they say, but we are governed by the Bible. And you tell him, unfortunately there are people who have 2 moms, but the beauty of the Bible, the man has a different mentality than the woman. So when they are married together, they help each other and complement each other. I'm very respectful. I did not make fun of anything, and don't laugh and don't tell them they are going to hell and God will burn them with copper and whatever. None of these things. The son has, The son has no self-confidence. I guess my son has no self-confidence. How can I help him? بصوا يا جماعة, self-confidence دي acquired and not inherited. Meaning it's our home that makes kids confident, and our homes that makes kids low self-esteem. If you think your son has no confidence, you must work on it. Meaning, don't blame anyone. Blame yourself and blame his dad or blame his mom. So how do you build it? Number 1 and number 2 and number 3, encourage, encourage, encourage. Stop criticizing your children. Stop being critical of what they do. Keep praising, keep encouraging. Find ways, number 2 or number 4, find things that they can do best at and blow it out of proportion. Like he's a deacon. Tell him, wow, when you read the Pauline letter today, I felt St. Paul speaking. How did you do that? I'm so proud of you. I saw you today with the echarpe on your head and you are standing. I felt as if St. Mary is standing on line. What is going on here? I am looking at my daughter and praising her out of proportion. Don't worry, she will never get arrogant. I'm praising my son to make him, and then find something he's good at, maybe biking, maybe painting, maybe planting, maybe fishing, maybe swim, whatever. Find one thing and excel him in. Excel too much. Number 4, If your son and daughter have bad hair, bad body, bad teeth, bad whatever, fix it. They need creatine I don't know what they call this, straighten their hair, straighten her hair. She needs to lose weight and go to the gym, stop doing basbousa and make her go to the gym and make her lose weight. Your son wants to I don't know, have something he is very good at, like a bike that he wants to do the biking. Find something that you can praise them and they become excellent at. Lack of self-confidence is my job. It's not their fault. How to make a 14-year-old girl with trust issues and sad to open up and talk. She lost trust in me as her mom when she was younger, but I don't know the reason. No, you have to know the reason. You must have some sort of imagination of the reason. But if you can't and her dad is participating in the care, he must ask her, why, Habibti, you are not too close to mom? What's going on? And you may go out with her in one of those trips, buying a dress, tell her, I need your opinion. I am not good in the colors, and I want you to come and choose for me a dress. There is a Macy's, there is discount, and whatever. And let her come with you. Give her the prestige that she is choosing for her mom a dress. You can always return it if you don't like it. I don't care. But more important, ask her, what, we used to be friends. Did I do something? How did we reach the level that you are not talking to me? What happened? This is very serious, by the way. I don't want anyone to have no trust in their mom. The next question. You mentioned in the lecture yesterday we can make password for the kids' phone to stop them from. Could you please let us know how? Yes, I can. Okay, I promise we'll do it, but مش عارف ازاي يعني بس we'll do it. أصله I can make a video and send it for iPhone, and then somebody else can make it for Android, and we send it to Abuna or Mea or Bishoy, and he send it to you. I think I may have a phone. We did it once for Abuna Dawood retreat for the 1,000 people, so this is not a new thing. So I may be able to find that video. خلاص دي طريقة التعامل مع الطفل الحساس ولديه صغر نفس وعدم ثقة في النفس، ورغم انه طفل جيد جدا لكن اسلوبه بيبعد اصدقاء عنه مما يجعل ما سبق من مشاكل يكون أسوأ او اكبر. It's a little weird because the kid has low self-esteem, lack of trust, but in the same time he is very good. And his attitude makes his children, his friends do not play with him. I think somebody need to talk to this child alone, learn from him why is he doing what he's doing, and show him that if you do this, you will get more friends. And if you do this, you will have less friends. I can't answer this question. It looks like more involved. So that's the best I can say. How can you teach your daughter to stop talking too much? And I mean non-stop. The city دي تعبانة قوي. And she argues so much with her mom. ده الداد هو اللي بيشتكي، هو صدع. الراجل يعني مش قادر خلاص. بص على فكرة في earphones. Put earphones وسيبهم يتكلموا. بص يا جماعة هقول لكم حاجة بجد يعني. How many of these people say our kids do not talk to us? الأغلبية. فلو بنتك بتتكلم اشكر ربنا واسكت وروح في أي حتة تانية لو أنت مصدع. In other words, the problem today, the kids don't want to talk. When we find the kid who wants to talk too much, yeah, it may be annoying a little bit, but believe me, it's much better because you will know anything. When I find somebody talking, a patient wants to talk, it's completely different. Do you have headache? Well, how wrong was your eyes? Allah, طب أنا أعمل إيه ده? It's not working. يعني هعمل له كل الأشعات اللي في الدنيا عشان أعرف. please, listen. of course, I'm not living with you, and it may be bigger than I'm making fun of it. I don't mean to disrespect صدقني. I'm not trying to disrespect إنها could be too much or annoying, but in the same time, the silent kid is far worse than the talking kids. So if there is a way, just do your best to endure, because at least you get everything out of that child. How to handle impulsive behavior when every conversation ends in being a big argument and a circle of harsh words and blame games from my son to us as parents. يعني I'm not sure why the discussion has to end by the child blaming the parents. I mean, the first part is impulsive. Fine. Impulsive meaning he gets something, he does something he did not think about, and it's completely unplanned and uncharacteristically right and all of that. But why does it end with a blame game? That I think we need more discussion or more understanding, because even if the kid wants to blame the parents, so what? Let him blame. But then a different time, not the same time. The smart here, don't take the problem while it's very hot and you have to try to solve it. Why? خلاص هو قال لك you guys don't love me, you guys hate me, you guys look at all the parents are fun and nice, you guys are boring and annoying and depressing, and I'm going to tell Abuna to get me to a different house. Fine. خلاص ولا ترد. And then later on, again, hopefully in a car ride or playing Monopoly or games on the floor, and tell him, Habibi, why you were angry at me yesterday and you kept saying you don't like me and you want to replace me? What do you think I need to do to make you happy? You will find a different tone completely. Because sometimes he's doing this not for you, for himself, as I said. Next question. هو لازم الأب اللي يتكلم مع الابن عن الجنس والأم مع البنت، ولا ممكن الأم تتكلم مع الابن والأب مش مرتاح الفكرة؟ في many dads are uncomfortable talking even to the boys about sexual issues. Very common, by the way. The reason is many of us, many men, don't talk, period. The number one. Number two, many men never actually felt comfortable that this thing can be talked about. So I understand that. Somebody has to do it. It's more normal for the man to talk to the boy, and if the both are present, طبعا, and the mom to talk to the girl. But if not, I am aware of single moms doing the job of talking about sex issues. كمان, I like very much this example, and try it. Dad doesn't want to talk, but then his brother, his cousin, his friend in the church, he's very good in talking. So he invites, and they have the same kids, he invites them all for a pizza party in the basement, in their house. And then هو يسيبهم وأنكل ده يتكلم. مفيش حاجة خالص. And uncle knows how to do it, and then the kids together بيضحكوا بقى ويكسفوا, بس no problem. Uncle will speak without, he smiles, but he doesn't lose it. And he explains without anger. And then you can be there or not being there, that's fine, that's your prerogative. ممكن أسماء دكتور مشهورة في تامبا? I don't know. We can find out. Any other? حضرتك كنت رافع إيدك؟ No. Okay. في حاجة تانية؟ Okay, thank you.
طبعا, we are so thankful to Dr. Hani for blessing us today and yesterday, and God willing tomorrow too. It's wonderful to hear him speaking about many topics. Actually, today we had the blessing of him talking to the college and the senior high schools about so many topics. And tomorrow, God willing, tonight, God willing, after Tasbih, he's going to talk to the young professionals, 21 plus. And tomorrow, God willing, going to speak to the servants, and before the servant, to the middle school. Middle school and 9th and 10th grader tomorrow. So we thank you, Dr. Hani, for all of the teaching and the sacrifice and love that you offer. Now we're going to start Vespers and praises. tomorrow God willing is the feast of Annunciation, عيد البشارة. So God willing gonna start now العشية والتسبيحة. So let's get started. We're gonna pray on this side of the altar because still the people working on the, as you can see, there is scaffold for the small dome. Inshallah, next week will be done by them. العيال, go take your kids immediately, please. The servants now are definitely tired. Yeah, get